Hey, hi everyone.
Hey,
Hey, hi Liam. Few people already there. Hi Max. Hi Michael. Hi Nadia. So glad to have you here today. This session is really for me a game changer because we will talk with Liam about how to supercharge your client acquisition and also your talent acquisition because Liam is also really expert in recruitment playbook. So this is a great session, I think. And I'm Eloïse, community builder and partnership at La Growth Machine. This is a sales automation tool. So I don't know if you already know the tool. Let me know in the chat. But the idea today is to have Liam as an expert, as a speaker for this great session, and I'm really excited to really like discuss and debate and talk about all the playbook he already tried. And Liam, I may let you introduce yourself before to deep dive in the presentation.
yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you for the intro. So for those of you who don't know me, so I'm a UK-based fractional recruiter, and I also run an online coaching business for other solo recruiters. So I've been in recruitment since 2014. I've done agency and internal talent, and I currently work on like a fractional basis, mainly helping sort of early stage tech startups and scale ups who want to scale cost effectively. They don't want to hire like a full-time internal recruiter. They don't want to use agencies. So they use my sort of fractional embedded model instead. Last year, I founded the Solo Recruiter Launchpad program. It's like a bespoke one-to-one coaching program on School, the platform School. You can check it out if you go on my LinkedIn profile. There's like some free stuff on there for anybody who wants to use it. It's all sort of BD related. And yeah, we started working together like recently. I've been using the Growth Machine now for a few months. Awesome, like my favorite tool. I post about it all the time because I'm a big into like multi-channel sequences. So yeah, excited to be here doing this whole webinar.
Great. Don't be shy, guys. Just ask all your questions in the chat during the
Yeah.
session. We will answer to this question. It's really about discussing. Liam doesn't want to be like be in a tunnel
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
1 hour, and it will be more valuable like this. So don't be shy. There is a chat button on the right corner, and yes, I think we can I think start. um,
Yeah.
Hi
Right.
Theo, hi Mike. Jean Pascal from Barcelona, from sunny Barcelona, he said.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's warmer than where I'm based in the northeast. I'll put it
Yeah,
like that.
UK and Paris for
Yeah.
sure, yes. um, so Liam, I let you sharing your screen.
Yeah. Right. Let's hope this works. Fingers crossed. Can you all see my screen? Yeah.
So not for the moment.
Right, give me a second. Why is it not working? 2 seconds.
And do
Te-
you guys know La Grosse Machine? Because maybe some of you know. Ah, perfect. We
Please,
see yeah, perfect.
we've got there in the end. Okay, cool. So before I talk about multi-channel, I want to start by talking about prospecting because I think that I talk about this quite a lot on LinkedIn. Prospecting is kind of the foundation for me of any successful BD sequence. So people spend a lot of money on copywriting. They spend a lot of money on email outreach software. They spend a lot of money on templates that they buy online, your email templates, LinkedIn message templates, etc. But if your prospecting isn't nailed, then all of that stuff's kind of pointless. Yeah, because you could write the best email in the world, but if it's being sent to the wrong person, then who really cares? So I always think that if we're going to talk about multi-channel outreach, I think it's really important to start by talking about prospecting. So hyper targeted prospecting basically means niching down to a small pool of prospects who all basically do the same thing. So I think automation in the last few years has gone kind of crazy. So like, I'll coach recruiters right now who they'll show me their Apollo, they'll pull up a list of like 5,000 leads. And in that list, you'll have like CPOs, CEOs, founders, heads of engineering, heads of HR. You've got multiple personas within that list. And different people have different problems. So like the CTO has completely different issues to the head of HR. But if you're sending the same email to those people, then by proxy, that email is going to be too general because it can't address all of their problems because it's not related to them. So I've got an example here of something that I do. So for example, for my own service, if you sent I don't know, an email to 50 founders of UK-based seed startups with no internal talent function, you've got multiple what I call relevance triggers within that prospecting list. Yeah, you've got the fact they're founders, the fact they're in the UK, the fact they work for seed startups, and the fact that they haven't got an internal talent team. So when you write them an email or a LinkedIn DM or any sort of sequence, you've got multiple trigger points that you can use to make relevant copy. Whereas if you, like I say, put a list together of like CTOs, CEOs, founders, you're immediately making that list less relevant unless you manually message each person, which, yeah, I wouldn't advise doing. And when it comes to prospecting, I've kind of got like a 3-step workflow that I coach recruiters to follow. This incorporates the growth machine in the sense of you can use it to pretty much do all 3 of these steps, but you've got source, enrich, and contact. So the idea is you look for some leads. That could be via Sales Navigator, Apollo, there's Clay. Obviously, the growth machine's got the search function there as well, which I'll show you in a second, Lookalike search. You then enrich the data. Now, the growth machine does actually enrich data. You only need it. Is it an email address? No, sorry, the LinkedIn profile and the name, isn't it? You can pretty much enrich everything from there. Yes.
Yeah, we have more than 25 data variables.
Yeah.
And so, name and company, and we have the LinkedIn and name. We have the company, and
Yeah, so you can enrich via that. You can use Clay, which is probably the most expensive enrichment tool. I use Prospero, which is pretty good for email verification, and you've got Persona as well. But you've got, enrichment's really important because a lot of people they start at source and they just go straight to contact. But the problem is, if you haven't enriched that data, and if you're using something like Apollo, for example, a lot of that data is probably not very accurate, without being harsh to Apollo, you're going to be in a position where, again, your chances of response rates are going to go down because if you've got a lot of inaccurate data, it's going to cause problems with your stats. So enrichment's really, really important. I can't stress that enough. And then finally, contact, and this is kind of where multi-channel comes in because, again, you want to be contacting people via multiple channels of communication. So I've listed a few here. You've got your email, calls, LinkedIn, so you've got DMs and voice notes, and I also use video. I use Loom based outreach. So I'm going to show you later on when I do a demo of the growth machine's campaign creation. I'm going to show you basically how to incorporate a Loom video link into a message. You can customize your LinkedIn DMs, but I'll talk about that later on. But yeah, I think if you aren't following a workflow like this, then I think you're going to struggle. Now, I'm going to do a little demo now of the Lookalike search, but does anybody have any questions? Eloïse, do you have any before I do that?
So for the moment, no question about the workflow. Max just asked if the slides will be shared after the webinar. I said yes, if that's okay for you, Liam. Okay. And
no problem.
so the recording of the session and the slides will be posted on the community platform Playground. So you are absolutely more than welcome to join the community. I'll just give the link in the chat. And also, because we are talking about email, calls, LinkedIn DM, also video prospecting, it's really interesting for us to know what did you try, what did worked or what didn't, to also nourish the discussion. Jean-Marc asked, will it work with a DM in WhatsApp instead of SMS? I don't know if you already tried something, Liam, on WhatsApp, for example.
To be honest, I haven't. No, so I don't really use like WhatsApp or kind of SMS messaging in my outreach campaigns. I mainly just do calls, LinkedIn. I mean, voice notes for me are my number one.
Voice notes, LinkedIn voice notes, really great.
I get the highest response rates on Loom videos and voice notes by far. To be honest, like it's like considerably more. I think LinkedIn voice notes for me, I've got like a 1 in 3 response rate with them so far. Like it's really, really good. So, no, I don't know. I haven't used WhatsApp, to be honest.
That's okay. And even in La Growth Machine, we don't have for the moment WhatsApp, but yeah, this is a different. Yeah, it's really also depending on the target. Does it work to send a voice note in a day on LinkedIn? Yeah, that's exactly that, Jean-Marc.
Yeah.
So when you send a LinkedIn voice note by La Growth Machine, it's I think Liam maybe will demo
I'll show
that,
you.
but you can being automatized but personalized, cloning your voice, adding a hello Martin, hello Mark. So yeah, this is really great. But in few minutes, Liam will demo that.
Yeah, I'll do that. But this is the lookalike search feature. So I love this feature, to be honest, because I do a lot of work within specific niche areas. So I do a lot of work in legal tech, fintech, etc., and biotech, for example, is the main one. So because of that, it's important for me when I'm prospecting to find similar companies. Now, I've used this recently, on a few different campaigns. One in particular, it was like a small fintech campaign. I did a search for sort of chiefs of staff who were part of fintech companies in the UK. There's like 50 people in total in that campaign. I got like 10 positive responses, and a positive response for me is like a meeting request or a request for like more information. So, for example, like asking me to send across a PDF or some marketing material. But yeah, 1 in 5 is pretty sweet, considering a lot of the time, if you're doing an email only campaign, for example, you're lucky if you get like a 2-3% response rate. So yeah, I'll jump straight into this. So the way this basically works is you can search for lookalike companies. So let's say, for example, I am a financial services recruiter. I'm recruiting for tech people in financial services companies. So I could put Barclays in here. And then you could run a very high, or medium. So I normally just stick with high, it's fine. And you can filter it down. So you could do United Kingdom. You could do company size, industry, pardon me. And then, as you can see, it brings up a list of relevant companies to that organization. So you could put in like a fintech company, you could put in a consultancy, an MSP, you could put in a biotech company. It will bring up companies that are similar to that company. And yeah, it's always ridiculously accurate, to be fair. So you've got a list here of 1,304 companies, which is awesome. What you would then do is go to find leads, and you would run a search within that list of companies. So let's say I'm looking for, I don't know, CTOs. We'll say maybe VP of engineering. And we'll put director of engineering. So we're looking for, we're looking for senior technical stakeholders.
It's an opportunity for me to say that if you guys want to test La Growth Machine and this LGM database and all the workflow Liam will show, you have 1 month for free.
Sorry, give me 2 seconds. My LinkedIn's disconnected. Give me a second. I'm just going to quickly do that.
No problem. You can pause your sharing screen. Yeah, I'll just add to the session this. So
give me a second.
Yeah, because normally the free trial period is 14 days. So if you want to try La Growth Machine with this link that I just I just shared, you can try for 1 month. And also there was a question about scripts, LinkedIn scripts, voice notes. So we did a resource named 11 LinkedIn voice note scripts with more than 25 replies on our community platform. So I just shared the link. And yeah, it's all on the Playground. So the Playground, it's a community platform. It's called the Playground by La Growth Machine. But if you are a user or not user of La Growth Machine, you can really enjoy the best practice, the experts sharings and discussion events like this one. So just be really more, you are more than welcome. There is a lot of resources, guides, templates. And yeah, you can absolutely join. Are you okay, Liam? Yeah.
Yeah, it's worked. My bad. Sorry about that, guys. Shock technical issue when you're doing a webinar.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
yeah. So as you can see, so I pulled up a list of CTOs. So I've narrowed it down just to CTO. These are all CTOs who work within that list I've just showed you. So financial services companies. So let's say if you're a recruiter and you are only dealing with banks, FSI companies, let's say you've got a really good lead engineer that you're looking to market to your target customers. This is the list of people who are all, again, your job title CTO within one of the companies in that list. And all you would then do, you would check out the LinkedIn profiles, make sure they're accurate, and you would just simply press import leads. You would give the audience a name. So let's say we'll call it test list FSI CTO. And then it's always important to tick this button here. I don't like to import leads that have already been contacted in a different campaign. Just keeps everything, nice and segmented. Then you would just press create, and it would create an audience for you.
yes,
And it's currently importing the list.
Nick asked, said, the thing I don't like is that it gives too many companies. It would be great if like Growth Machine and more filter option. So you have the filter part when you are going from the company results to the prospects and people step. And also the LGM database will evolve, like it was really a first version of the LGM database, and absolutely there is in the roadmap the goal is to add more and more filters. Don't hesitate to share with us which filters is the more important for you, the most important for you. And also, Jan asked, is it possible to use negative filter in the lookalike audience? For example, company name contain Barclay, not to be shown Barclays, other entities contacts. So yeah, I don't think you can use negative filters. I mean, yeah, you can. You can say that you don't want to filter any people of this company, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you exclude leads.
Yeah, you can exclude people, or company.
And you can also, I mean, what you can do as well, I do this, is you could go down, once you've sort of filtered the list of leads, you can basically then take that list of leads, if you want, export them and then run them through like Prospero or Clay if you need to as well. So I mean, you can always, I always double enrich anyway, just because I think it's really good to, triple check any data, because whether you get data from Clay, Apollo, LGM, LinkedIn, whatever, you're always going to have a couple in there that are maybe a little bit inaccurate. So it's always best to, get that list of leads, refine it even further. Because as I've said before, the goal really for any sort of prospecting exercise, in my opinion anyways, I think you should always have the most time spent on prospecting versus outreach. Because essentially, if you've got a nice tailored list of prospects, the outreach kind of takes care of itself, really, in my opinion. Because if they're all relatable to each other, you kind of know what you're going to say. Whereas if you just get a list of random people, stick them in a sequence, then it limits the effectiveness of that sequence. So you can still, I mean, I would definitely advise, if you are a bit unsure about the leads, it's fine to like export them and then stick them in a CSV file, run them through Clay, run them through your own enrichment software, and then stick them back on here for a sequence.
Yeah. And Mike asked if it's on the free plan or a pro plan. So the lookalike is available on every plan, Mike. Can you filter so you only get a maximum number of leads per company? I don't think so, but it could be great to add this.
Yeah, you can filter it by job titles. So I mean, obviously, I included a few different job titles in there because I'm just sort of demoing what it looks like. I mean, if I was going to do my own search, I would probably spend a bit more time maybe filtering by specific region, company size. You can filter by, for example, if you're doing job titles in, let's say, you're doing some fintech companies or you're doing like startups, you can filter it by employee numbers and job titles. There's probably not going to be more than like, one chief of staff, for example, in a fintech startup. Yeah. So realistically, I'm using like Barclays is massive banks as an example here, which is probably not the best example, but it's just more to show you how it works. But yeah, you can sort of filter by again, company size, industry. You can do some stuff around job titles as well, just to make it a bit more refined. And again, you can then export the list if you want to, and then maybe you want to add a bit more information there, you can do that. Cool. So I'll wait for that to work. Do you want to jump back onto the? Oh yeah, as well. Someone asked about the what version this is on. You can use a free trial. I think you've mentioned the 1 month free trial link, which will be going live. So instead of getting 14 days, you get a month. You can pretty much run a full campaign in a month, to be honest. I've done that. So like, if you are wanting to try this out, then definitely sign up to the free trial and just give it a shot. Yeah, because it'll 1 month is long enough really to do one of these campaigns.
Exactly. And a last question about Lookalike is how would you compare LGM Lookalike with Sales Navigator in terms of reliability? So in the back office, this is the LinkedIn database. So this is 100% reliable and live data.
Yeah, so I've run searches in Lookalike search and then gone onto Sales Navigator and done the same search, and they're pretty much the same, give or take a few different. I mean, it uses LinkedIn as a database, so it's not using like a random database. It's using LinkedIn. So it tends to be, I would say, pretty much the same. To be honest, I haven't really noticed a massive difference.
Great. Kevin Connor asked, can you elaborate on LinkedIn voice messages? I didn't know that exists. Yes, Kevin, in few minutes.
Yeah, I'll talk you through that. I'll talk you through that when I do a campaign demo in a second. But yeah, basically you can send voice notes on LinkedIn. I do that all the time. If you do it manually, so if you're not doing it via the growth machine, you've got to use your phone. I don't believe you can do them via your laptop unless you can, and I'm wrong. But
No, you can't.
I use my iPhone, yeah. But if you're going to do it via this, you can actually record it like literally through the platform and go from there.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll share my screen and just go back to the presentation.
Yep.
I will go back to that list in a second because I'm going to use that audience that we just created to basically show you how to create a demo campaign. Okay, so let's have a look. Cool. So I want to talk about going back to the main point of this, webinar is the whole multi-channel sequence idea. So the idea that you utilize multiple channels versus a single channel. And for the record, I'm not saying that single channel doesn't work. Like you can still do like a cold call only sequence. If you want to do an email only sequence, you can. You can even do that via the growth machine. To be fair, you could just do an email sequence if you wanted to. But I don't find single channel to be as effective for a number of reasons. Yes, the first one is it's one size fits all. So I guess one of the kind of inherent characteristics of the human race is that we're all just different. So different people like different things. Yeah. So someone might like football, someone likes basketball, someone likes rugby. Yeah. It's no different to outreach. So I personally hate getting cold calls, right? I find I can't stand cold calls. So if someone gives me a cold call, it's unlikely I'm going to answer the phone. If I do answer the phone, I pretty much shut it down immediately. But if someone took the time to make me like a video, or if someone leaves me a voice note, like I can watch that or listen to that in my own time. So I find it less annoying and I'm more likely to respond. So I've had SDRs like make me Loom videos before, for example, and they've been good. Whereas some people, hate videos, some people hate voice notes, some people hate, emails. So the idea with multi-channel is that because you're using multiple methods, and let's say you've got a list of 100 prospects, you're increasing your chances significantly of getting more responses because you're sending outreach on platforms that your prospects prefer by giving yourself more options. Yes, you rather than using one option, which is email, you're using 5 or 6 options. Yeah, which is why I think it's so effective. I think the social warming thing is quite interesting as well, and this is something I want to talk about because anybody who sort of follows me on LinkedIn knows that I post a lot of content, but one of the reasons I do that is because I do believe in the concept of nurturing your market. So if you build a network of prospects, so let's say, for example, you're a Salesforce recruiter and your market is the UK Salesforce market. So you're looking to ideally engage with Salesforce partners in the UK, and your target candidate market are Salesforce developers, consultants, architects, whatever. If you grow your LinkedIn network and you fill it full of potential clients, potential candidates, and then you're regularly posting content about that industry, about about Salesforce. It could be insights or insightful content, educational content, whatever. all you're doing is you're nurturing your network. You're basically showing your network, I understand the problems that you face and I can help you solve those problems, right? If you then incorporate LinkedIn content and LinkedIn social warming into your sequence, so for example, before sending someone a connection request or an email, like a post, follow them, view their profile, the social warming just breeds familiarity, and familiarity usually increases your chances of getting a response, because at the end of the day, if someone kind of recognizes you and sort of works out who you are and they've seen you before, maybe you've liked the post, you've viewed their profile, you've followed them, you've posted some content that they might find interesting. Again, it just increases your chances of getting a response, because it's not as cold as if you're just a random name in their inbox via an email. So that's one of the main reasons I do it. I've got a little stat here as well. So I used to use Smart Lead for a lot of my outreach. It's a good tool. I'm not here to criticize it, but it's obviously primarily an email tool. And I ran the same campaign through La Growth Machine using a multi-channel approach versus via Smart Lead, which is purely email. And my response rates were like 11%, and it went up to 31% with the exact same list of prospects, because I incorporated voice notes, videos, a couple of calls, etc. So my point is, multi-channel is way more effective than single channel when it comes to your outreach. And there's a few points I wanted to make about it as well. So the first one, and this is before I do a demo, so I will show you some of this stuff like live. But the first thing I want to talk about is striking a balance. So it's about understanding when to use what touch points. So again, like I said before, I always think before you send a connection request, you should do some social warming. Maybe like a post, view their profile first, and then send a request. I think understanding when to incorporate an email versus when to incorporate a voice note, etc. I think working out what your prospects like and finding a sequence that really kind of fits your audience is really important. Otherwise, again, you're not going to get the desired results. Again, it works much better with hyper targeted prospecting. So if you are multi-channel, the benefit of it is that if you've got a really, really niche, relevant list of prospects who are all, for example, could be founders of biotech startups or whatever, you can really, really, really narrow down your messaging and ensure that your copy is hyper relevant to that market. Yeah, and I think that, again, I'm not saying that that you have to be ridiculously targeted. You can maybe keep it a bit wider if your market is maybe, I don't know, Microsoft partners or whatever, rather than, for example, founders of very, very small startups. But it doesn't change the fact that the more relevant your list of prospects are, I do think it will improve your chances of getting better results. Personalization should be in there. And I think, again, I'm going to show you how to do that. You can customize in the Growth Machine certain parts of the sequence. Like, for example, you can customize a LinkedIn DM so that you can incorporate like a Loom video link, for example. I don't believe in like individually writing each email or each message, because I think that, to be honest, it's a complete waste of time. I think personalization is really important, but that kind of weird personalization that people use where they'll get like Clay or some AI tool and say something like, hi prospect, I noticed that you used to go to university. I went to university. That's not really personalization. That's just pointless personalization. So I think, again, use personalization strategically. Don't just use it all the time. But on the flip side, don't automate and make everything really, really spammy and automated, because that's not going to get great results either. Automate the tedious manual tasks. So again, like LinkedIn connections, sending connection requests, I just don't see the point in doing that manually personally. I think it's a waste of time. As a solo recruiter, I literally haven't got time to just sit and click through LinkedIn profiles. So as long as I've got that list of prospects there, I know that list is relevant to what I do. I would, always advocate for automating the manual parts of the sequence, especially. Less is more. So I'm not a massive fan of like 11 email sequences. I think you should keep your sequences nice and short. So like, a couple of touch points could be like an email, maybe a couple of calls, a voice note, a video, or whatever. That's fine. I think incorporating, far too many touch points just annoys your prospects. So what I like to do, for example, is I'll do like maybe a 2 or 3 week campaign. I'll then leave that list for 3 months and then revisit it again, maybe the next quarter, rather than doing like a 4-month, like 37 touch point sequence. I saw somebody on LinkedIn recently who had like a 13 email sequence, which is just, if someone's not replied to you after email number 10, just chill out, is my view. And And also the final part is candidate sourcing. So I use the Growth Machine instead of LinkedIn Recruiter for my candidate sourcing. It's awesome for sourcing. It's really, really good because you can, again, voice notes, videos. So LinkedIn Recruiter, as you know, anyone here who's a recruiter watching this video will know that it's not cheap. It's really not cheap. And I've used it for like 10 years. So don't get me wrong, I've got like a loyalty towards it a little bit, but I've started to really focus heavily on the Growth Machine for my candidate sourcing. So building out sourcing campaigns, again, using stuff like social warming, voice notes, videos, and it's absolutely awesome for it. Like really, really, really good. So I recently did a campaign. I'm recruiting for a couple of contract data engineer positions in the UK for all of my fractional clients. I think I've had like 40 to 50% response rate on the campaign, mainly from voice notes again. So I keep plugging voice notes here. But yeah, it's awesome for sourcing. So it's not just a lead gen tool. I think Noemi did a webinar recently, didn't she? She was talking about, isn't that right, Eloïse? Was it Noemi did one? Yeah, for sourcing. She was talking about that for
yes, exactly. Yeah. Noemi Jacquemin.
So, yeah. So anyone who wants to use this platform for sourcing and has some questions about it, like feel free to ping me afterwards because it is really, really effective.
Great.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you very much.
This is just a little screenshot here as well of a campaign.
Great. Just before to deep dive in this campaign, a little question about single channel. Speaking about single channel, what will you say to those who say that cold emailing is about to die, like too many solicitation, deliverability, rules changing, etc.?
I think bad cold emails will probably die, which they probably should. I don't think any outreach necessarily will die. I just think it's a lot of the time, to be completely honest. So when I've coached recruiters over the last couple of years, especially the last year when I launched the program, most recruiters that I've coached who've got bad cold email, it's normally because the deliverability is normally not been configured properly. So for example, they haven't warmed up their inboxes. They haven't got stuff like syntax. They're not using stuff like, they're not, configuring their inboxes with SPF, DKIM, DMARC, all that sort of stuff. So that's one massive problem. If you're writing spammy emails and you've got links, PDFs and everything attached to them, you could write the world's best email, but if it's not ending up in your prospect's inbox, it doesn't really matter. So I think deliverability is one massive factor, which sort of plays into why cold email gets a bad rap. But no, I don't think cold email itself is bad. I just think that, if you're good at writing emails and you understand how to write relevant, hyper-targeted copy that resonates with your prospects, that actually provides value and shows them how you can solve their problem, that's fine. It's just if you write terrible emails that just basically offer no value and just spam them, that's not fine. But I mean, I would argue that if they are dying, then that's a good thing because those emails are awful. I get loads of them. So yeah, I don't think cold email is dead, but I think bad cold email hopefully will be very soon. Okay, so
sorry. Another question will be, but maybe you will answer that about connection requests. Do you let it blank or do you add a little note?
a bit of both. I don't really. So I've kind of had positive and negative results from both. For candidates, I always add a note to my connection request. For clients, it depends. Not as often, to be honest, because so when you're a recruiter, like if you send a connection request to like the CTO or the founder of a company, and you include like a recruitery kind of connection note saying, "Hi, I noticed you're hiring for a developer," you're probably not going to get accepted. I used to work in internal talent, so I used to get inundated with agency recruiters reaching out to me, sending me connection requests, specking in profiles, etc. And I didn't really used to accept a connection request from a recruiter who would write a note saying, "Hi, I'm basically trying to work with you." So I don't think they're as effective personally for recruitment when it comes to client acquisition. I think for candidates, 100%, I always use one because they get the candidate's attention. But no, however, this isn't just for recruiters. So, I mean, if you don't work in recruitment, then it might be more effective for you. I just don't personally like doing it for client acquisition.
Great. Thank you very much.
Cool.
I'll
So,
let
do you want me?
you dive in. Yeah.
Right. I'll do a campaign. So, when you go onto the create campaign page, you've got a bunch of like templates. So there's email and LinkedIn campaigns. You've got LinkedIn only campaigns. They're quite cool if you want to just like add people, like, build your network, for example. But email campaigns, you've got LinkedIn, email, and Twitter, which is quite cool. And you've also got calls. You can incorporate, cold calls, for example. So, you've got loads of options here. I like to build a campaign from scratch. That's just my preference. But like, you can also use one of these campaigns if you want. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to go build campaign from scratch and just show you how I would do it. So we'll just press this button here, and this is the page you get. So what we're going to do here is add the little test audience that we created. So that is in there, and then we'll build out the campaign. So the first thing I always do is the person a LinkedIn contact, basically? So are they a first connection? Because that's a nice sort of way to then create a bit of a fork in the road. So if the answer is yes, what I'll normally do is visit their profile. And if the answer is no, I'll also visit their profile, and then I'll send them a connection request. Or I might like a post first, but whatever. Essentially, I'll warm the profile up a little bit before I send them a request. Now, you can write a note if you want. So let me just move my out of the way here. So go to content, and you can write a note if you want to. Again, it entirely depends. I'm not going to do it on this occasion, but like if you wanted to write a connection note, you can. That's totally fine. But yeah, I mean, essentially, the idea is you would then build out a bunch of steps. So what I like to do with my connection, with my campaign, is I'll normally wait like a couple of days. So I'll go wait. We'll say wait 2 days, and then everybody wants to talk about voice notes, so we'll do a voice note. Now, the voice notes are really interesting. So what you can do is you can just record like just almost like a custom voice note, and at the start of the voice note use, and this actually does work for the record, it doesn't sound weird. You can use a custom introduction. So record yourself saying hi, their first name, sort of record your voice, it'll sort of listen to what you sound like, and then it will add that to the start of the voice note. Or you can just not mention the name and just send them a voice note. But to be honest with you, my campaigns, again, this ties back into the prospecting part. So because my campaigns are hyper targeted, so for example, I might, I'll do 50 chiefs of staff at UK-based seed fintech companies. That gives me multiple trigger points to then reference during my voice note. So I'll say, hi, I noticed you're a chief of staff or whatever, and I'll make a voice note that is related to what they do. So it still sounds personalized. Okay. But again, if you want to do a custom introduction, which is fine, you can do that as well. It's entirely up to you. What I'll normally do after that is I'll normally wait a short amount of time, probably maybe 4 or 5 days after I've done that. And then I want to show you what this looks like as well. So you can then send a custom message, and this is where I would do a video. So what I would do is, I'm not going to actually write this out because we'll be here all day, but I would write a bit of text there, and then I would just literally stick in a link to a Loom video. And that way I'm incorporating personalization and automation in the same sequence. So by doing this, I would rename it Loom video. I would then record several personalized one-to-one Loom videos, stick the link in the message. And this is to be honest, where I get most of my responses. So the Loom videos are normally the follow-up to the voice notes. It's a natural follow-up. What I normally say is, look, LinkedIn limits voice notes to 50 seconds. So I figured I'd just send you a follow-up, and I will just normally go through the structure I use for my voice notes and videos is intro, pain, solution, call to action. Okay, so it's introducing me, the reason I'm reaching out, highlighting a pain point I know they face. So for example, for a chief of staff in a startup, I highlight the fact that they're probably in charge of recruitment because they haven't got an internal talent team. I then offer my solution, which is my fractional talent model. It's an embedded solution to help early stage startups, recover their time and let somebody else basically do their recruitment. I'll then offer a call to action at the end, and a video allows you to do like a presentation. You can go on their profile, you can show some slides or whatever. But yeah, that's what I normally do. And I found that sort of 1-2 punch is really, really effective. Yeah. You can obviously include like an email, for example, if you wanted to. So you could get rid of that. You could do like a voice note if you wanted to. You could send an email, and then you could do a Loom video after that as well. It's entirely up to you. But I've found that personally, I like to do an email sort of after I've done the voice note and the video. But again, you can flip it. I've done a few campaigns where I've started with an email first and then done a voice note. So in terms of an email, what I would do with that is, so I'm not sure if anyone here uses syntax, but this helps deliverability. So you'll do and at the end, you'll put insert text here, you'll put the text of the email in. And then at the end, I would normally finish with thoughts. It's like 2 seconds. Typos galore here. Interested in learning more. And then I would do maybe you want more info. And again, using that, it helps you basically boost because it's randomized. So like what happens is when you use syntax, it randomizes the actual messages. So it allows you again, so you might do, hey, end with thoughts, or hey, end of interest in learning more, or hi, end with thoughts. But if you send like 50 emails from an email address and you're randomizing the opening bit and the end bit, as well as, again, fixing your deliverability, it just increases your chances of getting a response for it. So a bit of a tip for me is see if you can use syntax. One cool thing with this as well is the variables. So you've got a bunch of variables here. Typical ones: first name, company name, etc., company URL. You've got your own variables to describe you as well. So you could if your job title is fractional recruiter, you could include your own job title. I don't personally like including job titles that often in a message, because unless you've properly refined your list of prospects, then you might get a weird job title on LinkedIn. Sometimes you get like really long job titles. So I would avoid that unless you've really kind of nailed that bit. But yeah, that's how I would put an email together. I would always use syntax. It's really, really effective. And my email templates for recruitment are normally an intro email. I would do a follow-up email a few days later with a case study attached as well. So it's like a 1-2 punch again. And yeah, I mean, that's how I would build out a sequence. So
yeah, that's super effective. And because before you just explain how you segmented your audiences with the LGM database, another thing will be to import from LinkedIn intents. You have the opportunity to also be more specific and personalized in your copywriting and segmentation, being able to just add to a list somebody who like or comment a post on LinkedIn, your post or any other post, and even exactly. This is here.
Yeah, so I'll show you how to do this. This is pretty cool. So what you can do, with an audience, there's loads of options for audience. And like, let's say, for example, you are hosting like a webinar, or you're hosting an event, and you're like a data recruiter, and you're hosting a roundtable for like chiefs of data from loads of different tech companies. And they all attend the webinar. There's like 50 of them, say, for example. You can import from LinkedIn, and basically anybody who's attended an event, you would press that button there, put the URL for the event in there. It'll take you to LinkedIn. It brings up a bunch of events here, and then you could use LinkedIn, and it will then take you, get the URL for the event, stick it in there, and then everybody from that event gets added to your audience, which is pretty cool. You can, again, anybody who has liked a post, who's followed your company. So let's say if you've got if you launched a new company, a new brand or something, and everybody who started following that company, they will all be downloaded into the campaign. So you could do like a campaign welcoming new followers or welcoming new people who've liked your content, and then again write a campaign based on that. So and as well, you can import from Sales Nav as well. So there's loads of cool ways you can do it. You can add people from a CSV file as well,
Yeah.
and you can connect to your CRM if you've got like HubSpot or something. I think you can do that. And I'm doing a post about this week, but you can use make.com as well to create automations. So I use Folk from my CRM, for example, and anybody who like responds to one of my DMs on here will go straight into my CRM via an automation in the back end. So yeah, that's kind of how you do it.
The thing I like is that you can or use the LinkedIn intent for your own inbound nurturing operation, but also just target the audience of a competitor or a creator. Or it's really great. And then you can adjust your copywriting. Another question about your workflow. You talk about video. Did you use Weasley or SenseSpark integration to personalize video?
No, so the benefit of this is one of the coolest things about the growth machine is the customize before sending. So what happens is when, let's say you've got 20 people who get to stage, I think this is stage 5 or stage 6 in your sequence, right? You'll get a list of tasks here, and it'll be like, right, you need to send the following customized message to this list of 7 people, for example, 20 people, whatever. You would then create I would just do an individual video on Loom for each person, so it is personalized. Because I think the thing with video is I'm not against using like mass video tools, like whatever floats your boat. I just prefer to make my videos one-to-one personalized. So I get a lot more, and I'm talking like a 2-minute video on Loom. I'm not doing like an Al Pacino monologue. It's like literally a 2-minute video of like me just saying, listen, I've sent you an email, a voice note, whatever. Just want to follow up, give you a bit of context, make you a personalized video, etc. And to be honest, like most people appreciate, like I haven't really had many, unsubscribes from like video content. It's always been pretty cool. So like, the benefit of this is you would literally just like go on Loom, record a video, and then you would just literally put like a link to the video in each individual message. So you're sending a personalized video to each individual person, and you would do that via your inbox. So it would show up in your task list. You would then send the video, and so it allows you to. So you would do like an automated email, but you can even customize each individual email if you want as well. It's entirely up to you. But the benefit of this is it allows you to do, automation that is more kind of mass automation plus personalization in the same sequence. So again, your prospect doesn't feel like they're part of some like never-ending automated sequence, basically.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, because we just released an integration with Weasley or SenseSpark, but you're really, it's really accurate to say it again. Like if you can personalize, if you have a little audience, and if you have the time to personalize, it will be better, of course. That's
the SenseSpark integration is really good though if you've got a larger audience, because obviously the size of the audience differs. I mean, if you've got like, I wouldn't advise making one-to-one personalized videos for like 150 people because you'd be recording all week. Do you know what I mean? But I think if you've got a small list, it works quite well. But again, there's a bunch of like webhooks and integrations you can add to this, which are really cool.
Great. We had a question about limitation. Like Pauline said, what the recommended LinkedIn connection request limits per day? Maybe in the settings we can go in identities, and limit hours.
So I've got mine set pretty low, to be honest. But you can set them. You can set them pretty whatever you want. I mean, I keep mine quite low, just personal preference. So I've got like 50 connection requests a day, 50 LinkedIn DMs a day. But again, bear in mind, I'm a solo recruiter, so I don't send out like, thousands of emails a week, right? It's different for me. Like if you're an agency, for example, you might want to have higher volumes. But again, you can add multiple identities. So your identity is like is you. So like this is my identity here. It's me. This is my LinkedIn Sales Nav account, email settings, etc. The cool thing is as well, this shows you if your deliverability has been sorted, which is great. But your action limits. So I would advise with LinkedIn, I would always advise staying, as risk averse as possible, because LinkedIn's a bit funny. But you can go right up. I think you can go up to yeah, it's like 100 a day, isn't it? So I've had that before. It's fine, but I just like to keep it to sort of 50, 60 a day personally. But yeah, the growth machine makes sure that you stay safe on LinkedIn, which is the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. We have a lot of thing in the back office that to be really safe on LinkedIn. About emails, also you have limitation. We do have now the rotating inbox.
Yeah, the rotating inbox.
Yeah, but really have to be careful with that, and because we have a lot of question about limitation email, and as
Yeah,
Mike say, he experienced high bounce rates of email with Apollo. So yeah, we have to be really
yeah,
secure about that. But Jean-Marc asked, can you use LGM to send email from a CSV file? Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So
Um,
when you add an audience, you can create a CSV file of leads and add that list of leads to like Road Machine via the upload feature. So yeah, you can create you can add leads from various sources. You can use the built-in search that I showed you before, lookalike search. You can just use Sales Nav and import a list. You can import data from LinkedIn, and again, you can upload a CSV file. So it's yeah, totally fun.
Yes. For the one who has more question about the product LGM, we have a product tour every week. So I will just
Yeah,
give the link also because like Jean-Marc has a lot of question about the tool. He asked if we have an inbox. And yes, we do have an inbox to manage all the replies from
yeah.
multi-channel also.
I would show you my inbox, but I've got live conversations happening in there, so I want to sort of keep them a bit quiet. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a unified inbox, so you get like your LinkedIn messages and your emails and everything come to the same inbox.
And you
Yeah,
have
so it's really,
tags also.
and
Yeah.
you can like filter it and tag it and stuff. So it's really good. Like it's awesome. To be fair, I don't respond really to emails now to messages. Sorry, in LinkedIn because I don't like the fact that LinkedIn's inbox you can't really filter it as well. So yeah, it's really good. You can filter the inbox via different campaigns, via different audiences and stuff. So it's really effective.
Yeah. Uh, is the CSV files necessarily checked by an email verifier before or Gmail verify my CSV file? Oh yes, yeah, we do have a verifier inside the LGM, like the enrichment features is also merged with the verifier, email verifier, so it's really
Yeah.
safe. And yeah, maybe I can share the enrichment page if there is a question about that. Pauline asked, do you get a warning or similar if you are close to reach the LinkedIn limit of connection requests? Oh, this is a good question. I don't know if we do have a notification or warning when you are. I think yes. Once I had a banner saying, "Oh, you don't have any. Um, yeah, you are limited now." So should be yeah.
Yeah, you do within the campaign. So like if you get closer, it gives you like warnings. So you'll get like a message saying like inside the actual campaign dashboard. So if you go into campaigns, you've got all the different campaign dashboards for the various campaigns you're running, and there'll be a pop up that basically says you're getting close to your connection limit or you're getting close to your DM limit. And you can just sort of again chill. What it'll do, it'll sort of reduce the volume until your limit's
Yeah.
been back to normal again. It resets every week on LinkedIn, doesn't it? So, yeah,
Okay. For what do you use the task function? Ask Max. Sorry. Could be also about calls. We don't talk about calls, but could be that when
yeah,
you add a call in your workflow, the sequence post, and you can go in the task saying, you have to call this person. Also, the task is great for managing LGM with your team,
yeah,
and also could be about customized your like tailor your messages, as Liam said.
yeah. So usually the task list is normally when you include a custom step. So, like, let's say for example, you write like a free email sequence, and the first email is automated. The second one, the follow up, is customized. It'll basically set you a list of tasks. Everybody that you've created a custom email for, you've then got to go in and actually write the customized email before it sends. and it'll list it as a task. So like, for example, anything you've done, like could be including a Loom video link or whatever. If you do a customized step, you then get a task on the day it's due as part of the sequence, basically. So yeah, you'll normally get, I mean, I always advise including custom steps within your sequence anyway, just because I think it's really important to not just automate an entire sequence. And yeah, like I say, it'll normally do that. So it's really good.
Yeah, the tailor custom message is really important for us because it's every time it's really a battle between automation and personalization,
Yeah.
and that's why we had the task function.
Yeah.
Jean-Pascal said, silly question. I tried to use the referral link, but it doesn't. Yeah. This is, so you have a banner saying that with this link, it's 30 days, a 30 days trial. So don't hesitate to take this link. It's a 30 days trial. Nadia asked, is the LinkedIn Premium account allowed to increase the number of daily connection?
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, LinkedIn's connection limits are a bit of a myth, are a bit of an interesting topic. I'd say myth because the more you spend on LinkedIn, the more lenient they are with with your activity. So like, if you've got like LinkedIn Sales Nav or LinkedIn Recruiter, and you use an automation tool, to be honest, like you're fine. Like as long as you want sending like 200 connection requests a day or something crazy. But like to be fair, again, like most tools like will keep you. I mean, there are a few platforms out there I wouldn't advise using for that because some just don't care. But the growth machine is really good for that. It keeps an eye on your activity and it will tell you that you know you're getting a bit close here. Like so, it automatically like reduces. So like if you're getting really close, it just won't send the requests rather than telling you you're close, and then you've got to manually go in and send them. So like, the good thing is it sort of takes action on your behalf. So, but yeah, I think if you've got a premium account, obviously you get more, you know, perks on LinkedIn. I mean, I use Sales Nav, so I get like I think 100 and something connect. I can't remember the exact number, but yeah, I mean, I just stick to about 50 or 60 anyway, to be honest.
And Mike asked, are you auto first name on Loom, or do you do it manually for outreach?
Yeah, so all my Loom videos are recorded manually once a month.
Manually, yeah.
Yeah. So you can automate them if you want, but I mean, yeah, I just get a higher, again, I get a higher response rate from the personalized videos where I'm literally like, you know, I'll reference something on their profile, like it's actually personalized. But again, you know, you do it within reason. I wouldn't do videos like step number one because you want to ideally filter out people by that point. So like the people who are left at the end, the video for me tends to be like step 3 or 4.
Yeah, I would say to try
Yeah.
both the tests. It's all about iteration. So
Yeah, 100%.
why not testing a really manual and custom video and another one on another campaign with a Weasley integration or SenseBite integration just to test. But yeah.
Yeah, I think Wizzy and SenseBark are the best
Yeah.
that I've used for like the kind of mass video. I think, and again, to be honest, it's one of those things like if it ties back into your prospecting, like if you've got a really, really narrow list of relevant prospects, so they're all like, you know, chief financial officers at global banks in London, right, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because it's such a relevant list of prospects, and this is why prospecting is so important. You can kind of automate the rest of it, and it still seems relevant.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and that's
if
the
it's
thing.
a
So like,
high
it doesn't.
ticket, yeah, and if
Yeah,
it's a high ticket our premium audience too, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I think it's fine. Yeah,
Great.
experiment.
Yeah, let's try experiments. Okay. So let me go on to do it at the same time. So this, do you have question about workflows, copywritings, formats, anything super targeted prospecting lists? Because we have 1 minute left. All about the referral trial link. If you have any issue, don't hesitate to write me down a little DM on LinkedIn, Eloïse Barège.
Yeah,
But should work really. Like I see few people already signed up with the magical link of Liam, and everything is fine.
It should be fine, hopefully.
Do you know if you can send out more connection and everything? Says yes. So Pauline, Liam said that normally Sales Navigator has more connection requests than Basic, for example.
Yeah.
Yep.
I found that the more you spend on LinkedIn, the more lenient they are with automation. I mean, don't quote me on that, but that's just my experience. I mean, but yeah, you tend to be fine.
Yes. And Jean-Marc, so you have an onboarding session every week. So don't hesitate to take the one of next week. And yeah, I think we're good, guys. Another question, maybe, how do you nurture contacts who didn't accept the request on LinkedIn? You can follow up on LinkedIn or by email. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I normally do is a bit of social warming and then an email normally. I actually tend to find that if I send a connection request and then I might view their profile, send them an email, I might call them if you've got a number or something. You don't need to stop at LinkedIn. Yeah, you can sort of just continue the sequence. So
yeah, exactly. And to answer to Karan Kumar, yes, the meeting will be recording. You will have an email with a link to have the recording. So just after that, I put it in the Playground, the community platform, and then you will have an email with the link.
Yeah, we'll attach the slides as well. Yeah, I think they should be. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
So, and Mike say, do we still have to send blank connection on first LinkedIn request if no membership with LinkedIn? No, you can do both. And as Liam said, it depends of you have to test.
I'll be completely honest. Anybody who says there's a rule for that is making it up. There really isn't. It completely depends on your prospect. Ultimately, it depends. Like you could get 50 people and send 50 connection requests.
Without
it's impossible to know. Yeah, it's impossible to know. You just try both. That's what I would say. I don't think there's a problem with either. Just don't make them really pitchy. Is the only thing I would say. Don't pitch slap somebody with a connection request because they probably won't accept. That's one thing I would say.
I just shared resources in the Playground. So it's named 15 LinkedIn Notes with over than 40% of acceptance of requests. So just go to test, and you have this little LinkedIn request notes, not too pushy, not too pitchy. So you just have to try and to get inspired by this resource. Everything is on the Playground: recording, template, guides, experts like Liam. And hope you enjoy, guys. Thank you for the comments and the messages.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much, Liam, for all this richness and sharing with us.
I'm tired now.
Me too. Me too. To be honest, there are a lot of things to try and actionable actions. So yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, if anyone who isn't connected to me as well, I feel free to ping me a LinkedIn connection request. Happy to have a chat if you have any questions about anything I've talked about here.
Yes, Liam is one of our best creators, and every tips, every workflow is really inspiring. So yeah, I can be more enthusiastic about having you in the community, Liam, and thank you again.
I'm always on LinkedIn, to be fair. Just literally give me a shout if you got any questions.
Great. Thank you, guys. Have a great day and or evening, wherever you are. And thank you again. And see you in a week for a new webinar. See you, Liam. Bye.
Bye.